I cloned an Amtrak Aem-7 to look like a Septa Aem-7 by reskinning it. But before I could do that, I had to fix a few of the errors that come with committing the clone version of the locomotive that I originally downloaded. Because for some reason, this locomotive doesn't like being cloned or reskinned. So the simple act of committing it after you do either of those makes it faulty. I had to fix those errors. I fixed the errors that appear after you clone the locomotive and commit it in the earlier part of this video. Now I'm actually beginning the reskinning process. First, I'll show you which file you have to reskin. Control-Shift-E to look for the file. It's in the locomotive's body folder. It's called main.tga. Sometimes it'll show up as just main, depending on what type of computer you have. Just right click on it and the image shows up. I use the GIMP what's this thing called? GIMP for editing the file. This file just tells the game what the locomotive is supposed to look like. By changing it, it changes the game's perspective of what the locomotive looks like, and you can change it to any kind of locomotive just by changing the logo and what the sides look like. But first, we need pictures of the locomotive to model after. Railpictures.net is a good website for that. Right now I'm looking for a picture that contains the front of the locomotive, and I found one. I right clicked on it and clicked Saved As, and now I'm just choosing a name for it. I'm gonna call it Septa Aem-7 front, but it doesn't really matter what you call it. Now just click Save, and now it's saved. Now, where's the saved folder? I don't need these up anymore. Okay, after editing the file, I exported it as a JPG file, and now I just dragged it in here to basically what I'm doing is I'm putting it over the original picture. Somehow simply doing that changes the image. Now I'm going to click on the scale tool to change the size of this image. And then I'm going to click scale. Let me make sure it fits first. Okay, I need to make it a little bit more over here. Okay. Now we have a new front for the locomotive that the game is actually going to recognize. Next thing I have to do is change the side of the locomotive. The best website for finding pictures of the locomotive I'm looking for seems to be railpictures.net. All I really need is a picture of the locomotive from the front and another one from the side. The pictures have to be zoomed in enough so that the locomotive has a lot of detail though. If not, it's going to look very foggy on your the end result. Let's see. Oh, this is actually a good picture. You get the exact side of the locomotive from it. Okay, so I'm going to right click on that. Save image as. I'm going to call this one Septa Aem-7 sides. Now I'm going to click save, obviously. And now here's the picture of the Amtrak Aem-7. I have to drag this picture of the side of the locomotive over to that. But first it has to be edited a little bit. I need to get all the extra stuff out. So right click on it, edit with GIMP. And now this shows up. Now I'm going to use this crop tool, right, and then I'm going to basically create a rectangular shape to fit all of this into, and then click inside this rectangle to get rid of everything else. And now I'm going to use this perspective tool to make it fit perfectly inside this rectangle, so that I have just the side of the locomotive from the correct perspective. This usually takes a while for me to do, because you have to get it perfectly straight. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, it looks good, but it could be better. Need to move this a little bit more to the right. Okay, now it's a little too far to the left. Okay, I guess that looks good enough. Now I have to use the crop tool again because now the picture is too large. I have to get the extra shape out of this. Okay, that's perfect. Now File, Export As, save it as the same thing, Export, Replace, click Export. Okay, now I have a good picture of the side of the locomotive. I'm just gonna simply take this picture and drag it over here. And then I'm going to click on this scale tool to make it fit over the Aem-7 paint scheme for the Amtrak logo. Now I'm going to click File, Export As. Don't save it as a .tga file because that one gives you more errors. I'm gonna save it as a .jpg file, but with the same name. The game doesn't really care if it's a JPG or a TGA. Let's see. Now click Export, and then Export again. Now it should be in the locomotive's body file. Okay, here it is. Now it says main.jpg. And if you double click it, you get this. For some reason it didn't show up correctly. Let me change something real quick. Okay, now it's good. Now I have to change this main.texture text document to read this main.jpg file instead of the TGA one. So double click the main.texture file. Where it says primary equals main.tga, just replace TGA with JPG. And then Control S. Now it's going to read the other file instead, the one we just created. Now exit out of all of this. And then Control M, and it should be not faulty. Okay, good. It shows up as not faulty. Now, if you could get permission to upload your creation, you need to have a preview image to upload it to the download station. Here's how you create a preview image. First, I'm going to look for any kind of picture of the locomotive. I guess one of the ones I already have will work. Actually, no, I already edited them. First, okay, here's a picture we're going to use for the Septa preview image. First, I'm going to right click on it and click Open With, and I'm going to use Paint. I think all Windows computers already have this. Now, the reason why I need to edit this picture in Paint is because I need to resize it so it fits in the preview image display. Otherwise, it's going to show up as no preview image available. So I'm going to click Resize right here. Click Pixels, and then don't click on the Maintain Aspect Ratio. And then over here, type 240 on the top, and on the bottom type, I think it's 180, or is it 140? Yeah, I think it's 140. Yeah, 240, no wait, hold on, let me make sure. Okay, it's actually 240, 180. The first line you type 240, and the second line you type 180. And then just click OK. Now it's resized properly. Now I just gotta save it. Now I'm gonna, let's see. Okay, here's how you add the preview image you just created to the locomotive. First, Control-Shift-E, and then take this now resized image and just drag it in here, and then name it. I usually name it image.jpg. Oh wait, I named it wrong. Okay, now that it says image.jpg, I gotta Control-Shift-C to edit it in Content Creator Plus. And then, let's see. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Add a thumbnail container. And then under image, click on this. And then just click on the image. Over here where it says width, type 240. You type any other number other than that, it's not going to display. On the bottom one, type 180. And then just Control S. And then Control M to commit it. Now it has a preview image. It looks like a Septa Aem-7 pulling some passenger cars. Now let's look at it in RailYard and see what it looks like. Okay, here's the Septa Aem-7. It looks okay, I guess. The flashing ditch lights still work, but the automatic running numbers don't work anymore. There's probably a way that you can fix that, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So for now, there's just an empty square there. I don't think it lets you put your own numbers in either. Well, that's how you repaint the Aem-7 to look like Septa on Trainz 12, and how to get it to work without errors, as well as how to give it a preview image so it can be uploaded, with permission from the original creator, of course. While I'm here, has anyone downloaded this locomotive, NYC 0606825? I call it the most glitched up locomotive in this game because, in the stop position, the wheels are still moving for some reason. Also, there's some kind of weird black metal rod sticking out of it. I'm guessing that's a shadow glitch or something. But it's clearly broken. It comes with this horn.